Here we are back again for Captain's Corner with Brock Matheson. This week we're in the Concordiensis office, as you can see, the official newspaper of Union College. So Brock, how's it going?
Good, how about you?
Pretty good. Lots of tests this week.
Yeah, I got one tomorrow. So
doesn't everybody?
Yeah.
So are you enjoying the snow?
Yeah, it's we got our landlord's been definitely using his snowplow a lot in our front driveway there, so it's actually, I guess I'm not enjoying it because it's always a tough walk to class being off campus. But it's winter, so.
How's it compared to home?
We usually get, I'd say, maybe a little bit more snow. I think right now they don't have too much of it right now. I think most of the snow's coming here, and we're kind of missing it back home where I'm from, in St. Lawrence. So it's they're not getting as much as we are. All
right, well, enough of the weather, so we'll talk about hockey a little bit. So you guys did a pretty historical thing last week, beating Colgate at Colgate for the first time since 1998, and beating Cornell in their big barn for the first time in a long time, and doing a weekend sweep since the last time we beat Colgate in 98. So how big of an accomplishment is that for you guys?
Yeah, it was really big. Like you said, it's been such a long time since we got a win at Colgate, and I think that was in the back of everyone's mind, definitely the seniors, because it's been 3 years previous to that we hadn't had a win. So it was really important, to get that first win Friday night. We didn't play, I wouldn't say we had our A game Friday night, but we played well enough, to get the win. Then the next night we played a really great game against Cornell. So overall, I think it was a really big sweep and a really big confidence booster for us, and hopefully we can carry it into this weekend.
So, what was the problem against Colgate? You said you didn't play well, but you guys still won. So what was the problems? And two, what does that mean for you guys to play poorly and still win?
Yeah, I think, the first 5 minutes I thought we played really well, and we just kind of carried the play. And then after that, we kind of, I think lost our focus a little bit. We didn't stick to our game plan as well as we were. We're missing passes, just little details, things like that. Colgate's a team, obviously, that hasn't had a lot of success lately, and, they've had some tough breaks. And, Saturday night was another example of that, in the penalty shot score with RPI's win. But, I think they'll get going pretty soon, and we were fortunate to get a win against them because they're, despite the record, they're a good hockey team, and I think it's just going to take one before they take off.
So when you're picking up the win, even though you guys played poorly, what does that mean for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's important that I think Keith really had a great game, and I think that's important because sometimes we're not always going to be 100%. We're not always going to have our A game. For him to step up and kind of steal one for us means a lot, and I think he was a big part of the win on Friday night.
And the following night against Cornell, Cornell's been a little down this year, but they're still a tough team to play, especially at Lina with their crazy fans and whatnot and all their history they got there. So what was your success for that victory? Yeah,
it was important, and before the game, we talked about how that was the team, basically that took the trophy from us last year, and they beat us in the finals, so all the returning guys still had a bitter taste in their mouths, from last year and that final loss that we had against them. So we had a ton of incentive, we needed to prove to ourselves that, we could beat them, and I think it was great that we came out and played our game and basically just played a full 60 minutes against them.
Do you think Cornell's actually a little down this year, or do you think they're still a great team, just hitting a few bumps?
Yeah, I think I think any team that Cornell puts in the ice is a good team. They seem to always get a good bunch of recruits, and they're very well coached. I think it is an off year when Cornell's not at the top of the standings. It's kind of the way it works is usually they're right up there. But I guess in there, based on what they're used to and based on how they've done in the past, I guess you would say this is a bit of an off year for them.
I guess speaking of top of the rankings, Yale's been pretty much unbeatable except for, I guess it was a Saturday or Sunday, and they lost to Brown.
Yeah.
Brown's a pretty tough team to play, I guess. What's the reason behind that?
They, I don't know. I actually had a feeling that they'd beat Yale one of those nights because they beat Yale in the playoffs last year, and they always play Yale so tough. And I think the main thing to their style is they just want to physically beat you up in the ice. They want to hit you as hard as they can. They want to get in there and forecheck and just grind. And I think that's a big key to their success because they do it against everyone. So if you're not prepared to work against them, you're not going to have success against them.
I guess the leader of that little brigade is Captain Harry Z on their team.
Yeah.
In that game, he picked up a 10-minute misconduct and then scored the game winner.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so he's usually one of the most least-liked players in the league from what I hear. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about that. Yeah, I've heard he's, he definitely picks up his fair share of penalties. I don't really know too much from experience. He's obviously a really good player for them. Scored a big goal for them. I don't really know if you could call him the most hated player in the ECAC or not. I really don't know who that would be.
Do you have no opinion on who would be the most hated player in the ECAC?
No.
How about from your team? Who do you think opponents hate playing against?
Geez, that's a tough one. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Maybe, Prezi, because he scores, probably the most points out of anyone on our team. He is the record right now, so he's probably, frustrating for defenders to go against. A few years ago, I would have said Lane Cafaro, just, from his style of play. It's pretty, he was in your face, and he wouldn't be too shy to give you a cross-check or something like that. But right now, I don't think we have any guys that are overly dirty or anything like that, or that would be considered, hated players in the ECAC.
Maybe if it was last year, you could say Wakita.
Yeah, he'd be another guy with his bone-crunching body checks there. So, yeah, he'd be another guy.
Well, getting back to your team, real hockey stuff. This past week or two, you've seen the emergence of another freshman, Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah.
How has he picked up his pace? I mean, he's gone from not really dressing too much to being on the power play, scoring goals.
Yeah.
What's been his success?
Yeah, it's been great for Sully. He's kind of a favorite in the dressing room. He's a big hit. Everyone likes Sully. He's young too. I think him and Carzy are the only real true freshmen on the team. So obviously, at the beginning of the year, it took him a little bit to get in the lineup, but he's playing great hockey right now, and I think the sky's the limit. He's got a ton of potential. He's a great kid. He's got a ton of skill, and I think you'll just see him getting better and better throughout the years.
I mean, it feels like every week it's just a new person popping out of nowhere, where it's like either Bodie or George or Carr or Sully or Keith or even yourself scoring the big goal this week. Why has it been that way? I mean, there really seems to not really be one big star. I mean, I guess Welsh and Prezi are big stars, but when it comes to everything, they really aren't. What's been the success for being the team like that?
Yeah, I think like you said, there's a lot of guys on our team who have the ability to contribute and who have been contributing. I think the fact that we have four lines, that can contribute and they can score and they can do what we need them to do really makes us, a pretty tough opponent for any team in the league. When we get our four lines rolling, there's not too many teams, I think, who can match us. So I think it's important that we've had, contributions from all four lines and all 60 and all our goaltenders this year. I think it's been, a big reason why we've done success. We've had some success lately.
And getting back to your goal, you scored the I guess it was the game winner against Cornell.
Yeah.
Was that exciting, or was it just another goal to you?
Yeah, no, it was a while. I hadn't scored in a while, so it was nice to kind of get that one under the belt. It was a great play by Hatchie, putting it on net and overall, I think everyone had a really good, strong game against Cornell. So it was nice to see, like you said, everyone's been contributing lately.
So being a defenseman, this might be a tough question for some. Would you rather score a game-winning goal or block a game-winning goal?
A blind block one. Yeah, I'm personally a defensive defenseman, so that's kind of my primary role is to make sure the opposition's not scoring. So leave the scoring to the forwards and the offensive D-man, I guess.
All right, for this weekend, you guys have bring in Harvard and Dartmouth. So what do you have to say about that? What's going to be the success for beating those two teams?
Yeah, Dartmouth, obviously, they had a huge win against UNH last, I think, Saturday night. So, we know we're going to have our hands full. We played them in a really tight game up in Hanover against them. I think it was a 0-0 tie. So, we know it's going to be a tough match against them. They got a lot of skill, and they're very good in the power play. And then the next night, Harvard's a team who's always given us trouble in our own barn. So, we're definitely not looking past Friday night, and we know it's going to be a really tough weekend. So
you said your last minute you played 0-0 game. Have you ever played in a 0-0 game before? I haven't.
I think that was the first, actually.
Is that weird?
Yeah, it is a little weird. I'm sure it's not too exciting for the fans, but it was a tight match. Both teams had chances, and just both goalies played really well.
You think it's going to be a tougher feat to score on the Dartmouth goalie James Mello, or to stop their big forwards in Fleming and Escalette and those guys?
Yeah, those forwards are really tough. They've always been a tough line to deal with. But like you said, Mello's been playing really well this year. And definitely when we played them in their barn, he played really well against them. We had some great opportunities to score, and we just couldn't put one past them. So I'd have to say probably their goaltender is going to be the tougher one to crack.
So, I mean, another big reason for the Dartmouth game is because I think they're technically ahead of you in the PWR last I checked. Actually, if you didn't know, the PWR just got changed. I think it was this morning or late last night.
Really?
Something about the TUCs and some consideration about that. You'll see it up on the blog later.
Oh, yeah.
But I think as I saw, they were ahead of you. So how important is that to beat those teams like that? I mean, there aren't many of those games left.
Yeah, I think here on out, regardless of whether it's a pairwise game or not, I think every weekend and every night's going to be important going here forward. Like you said, though, that's obviously added incentive, but we try and take the approach, not to think about that kind of thing and just focus on doing what we can do Friday night and getting the win, and that's what we're focused on right now.
So I think if the season ended today, you guys would be in a national tournament. Does that feel weird, or how does that feel like?
Yeah, that's obviously our goal is to get there, but first and foremost, we want to take care of our own league here and not only get a first round bye, but win a championship that we didn't win last year.
Well, you can see like some of those pictures online with like the brackets, the projected brackets for the NCAA tournament. Seeing you in there is a pretty cool thing. So hopefully you guys keep it rolling, pick up their 6 wins in a row, and just keep climbing the standings. And we'll see you next week, Brock.
Thanks a lot.